Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start off by saying the family members and the victims of this tragedy have been in my thoughts and prayers since that Monday morning, and we will continue to pray for them as they walk through this tragedy. So Monday, March 27th is a day that I will never forget. I walked out of that office at 10 o'clock that morning to drive around the precinct, and the initial call came out, and immediately my stomach dropped when I realized it was a school. When we arrived on scene, officers were beginning to form what we call our entry and contact teams. This was something that I immediately knew, looking up, that officers were doing what they had been trained to do as we arrived on scene. There was no stimulus that was driving us. However, we were going into the school in multiple different entrances to begin our search for the shooter. As they were doing this, we began to form operational plans outside. I was partnered with my counterpart from the fire department, setting up our ambulances in an effort to, once the shooter was eliminated, we would begin our rescue operations for any victims that were inside. At that time, we began to receive gunfire from a second floor window as officers were inside searching for that individual. Once that individual was neutralized, operations began with our rescue task force operations, as Chief Drake already alluded. This is part of our training that we go through on an annual basis, where we, and along with our fire department personnel, go in and begin setting up rescue corridors so that we can move any type of victims or anyone that needs medical care out from the school and out to our medical professionals to get them to the hospitals. I want to also say I'm very, very proud of the men and women of Midtown Hills Precinct. Majority of our 80-tail personnel that are work patrol responded on this date, along with our community field intelligence team and numerous of other divisions and precincts throughout Davidson County. I will tell you, from witnessing these individuals and several other officers entering into the school, it reminded me of a scripture that said, who shall I send? And it says, send me. And I believe these individuals, along with every Metro National Police officer, fire department personnel on that date, answered that call. I also want to say, as Chief Drake's already mentioned, the preparation that the school did that day, the training that they went through, I believe that mirrored with the response from the police department saved countless of lives. I was able to speak to one of the administrators as they were coming out, and she was able to help relay information to teachers and staff members that were still inside, which is a huge help with coordinating communication. Obviously, there's a long road ahead of us. One of the biggest things that Chief Drake's pushed here is wellness, not only for our officers, but we know there's going to be a long road for the victims that are involved as well. But on that date, all I can say is that just very, very proud, very appreciative of the training that we've received. And like I've told many, many people before, you would have never known that Rex wasn't part of the team that went in that date. It was a seamless effort going into the school and doing what they've been trained to do. So from everything from the reunification site, so once you have an incident like that, my primary responsibility was to start setting up staging locations, reunification site, media staging site, because when something like that occurs, there's hundreds of officers that are answering the call to come there. So I just want to say thank you to all the other command staff personnel that responded on that day and assisted with that call for service. But that's a general overview of the response, and I really want to just pass it on to the officers so they can give you a detailed synopsis on what they did that day.